just to start by saying good morning to everyone, and thank you so much for coming. And a little bit like Martina, I'm incredibly nervous. I don't really do Zoom, and I don't really do public speaking so much, although I do like the sound of my own voice. Um, and yeah, I have put this presentation together, and I know I'll have friends who are in web design and stuff, and graphic design, who will shudder at some of my choices, but there you go. I'm just going to start by going over some of the things that Mark said. So my name is Junior Cunningham, and I am and have been a professional dancer for a very long time. I started working with Motion House 18 years ago. I actually started as an apprentice in 2002 and did that for about 6 months. I was really lucky to be there at a time of creation and new stuff was going on. And towards the end of my apprenticeship, somebody decided that they were moving on, and I was in the right place at the right time and have stayed forevermore. My passions while being there, I was really lucky to be able to perform for a really long time. I performed for 11 years, doing indoor, outdoor stuff around the UK. We then started to venture a lot into Europe, which was just amazing to start traveling as a person who, in my younger life, I didn't travel very much. So starting to branch out and go to different places was a real eye-opener, and really enriching. We went to China, we went to Japan, which was a place that was always on my hit list, and didn't think I'd ever get there. Did the Americas. Traveling was just fantastic. One of the things that I wanted to just draw attention to is the teaching that we do. And for me, teaching is just incredibly important. Teachers are, I absolutely salute all the teachers out there. It's something that I love doing, but could never see myself doing completely full-time in one place. And anytime we go into schools, colleges, universities, I always promote and big up the teachers to the students, because people who are there in front of you all day every day, they become the norm, and it's just exhausting. I see people pour everything into it, and there are educators there preparing our future. They are bringing on and bringing out the promise in our young people. So I just wanted to thank them. I also, at the moment, I'm about to embark with Motion House on a new chapter for myself. We are looking at our inclusion, diversity, and recruitment policies, and I'm going to be involved in that. This is something that I'm really looking forward to, and for a very long time, but very much so over the last 10 months has been something that I know that I need and want to pour my attention into, and I'll be looking to get some training in, so that because I know that just being Black, just being non-white doesn't qualify me in any way, shape or form of going into diversity, equality, inclusion. So I'll be looking to really train myself up and pour a lot of my focus and attention into that. As you can see on the screen, I'm a father of two. I mention this because I feel like it's really important. Becoming a dad has changed me a lot. It's grounded me, it's made me more round, it's made me more vigilant of the world, and you know, I just have to pay more attention. I have to try and stay on the ball so that I can steer my kids in the right direction as much as possible. And again, just to keep using the theme, you know, nurture their promise, nurture their potential, and see how I can help them in the directions that they want to go in. My creativity side of things, I think I've always been a creative person, some of which I'll talk about later, sort of, you know, the ability to be able to be the person you need to be for the situations that you're in. I think kind of lent its hand to me discovering the arts in a way, because, you know, I wanted to be able to transform myself from one person to another person. I wanted to be able to use ideas that were formulating in my head to express myself, and this has carried on for a long time. This spills over into all sorts of things. I During lockdown, I kind of poured my passions into building and creating anything, any problem, any small nook and cranny in the house. I started to build. Carpentry is something that is in my family, on both sides, and building and general handyman stuff. So it's something that I use as a creative outlet, and also, you know, it transports me to a different place, especially in times when there are no tours to be had, there are no stages to be graced with. I thought it was just important to give you a little bit of me, because hopefully some of this will then inform the rest of the talk, and make you a little bit more informed of my journey and where this talk will be going. So the theme, promise. What I wanted to do is open up the chat rooms again, because when talking to Chris and Martina about doing this talk and the theme, it provoked a lot in me, and I had some initial ideas of what I was going to do. But what I want to do, and if you would like to join in, is if you just tap away in your chat box, give me the first things that come to your head. You see the word promise and you think, what? It can be anything. You go ahead. I'll try and have a look at that in a second, and then I'll come back to it. Whilst you guys are doing that, I thought I would give a bit of a trigger warning, and just let you know that we will be talking history. We will be going into talk about that year all of us would probably rather forget, 2020, bringing it back to light so soon. I will be touching ever so briefly on Black Lives Matter, but I am not an expert, and I won't be going in to great detail. And the sort of main focus of this talk for me deals with race relations, and yeah, I just thought I would try to let everybody know what I was thinking, so that if it's something that you need to jump out of, then you can. Okay, so I'm just having a quick scan through some of the things in the chat room, and I've gone on to the next slide, but what's quite nice is it's gone off. I can't see anymore. But from what I could see instantly, so a few of the words that I hear have also popped up. for me, as I started to look into promise and started thinking about it, I started thinking about the other words that surrounded my initial ideas. And these are just some of them. You hear them all the time. I vow to do this. I'll be resolved to do that. You know, a word bond, these things that tie us all together. Where am I? Okay, so my initial thoughts when thinking of promise was more to do with making a promise, breaking a promise itself. And as you can see from the screen, these are the sort of initial things that popped up. And for me, as well as the positive things, there's quite a little bit of negativity surrounding it, and I wasn't sure that that's the way I wanted to go down. Initially, this talk was going to be all about the broken promises made to people over the years, you know, things that had brought different groups to this country, things that governments had promised their people to do, Donald Trump promising to build a wall, those kind of things. And I quickly realized that actually that's not where I am and not what I wanted to do today. So where I got to and how I got there. So this screen, and today you'll see a film that I have been working on called Stand Together. And I want to go back to our theme promise because one of the main things for me, and one of the things that I need to hold on to, is the positivity. For me, the word promise talks about potential, talks about the young man, the young person shows such promise in this area, shows such promise in that area. And I truly believe that there is promise in equality, and we are on a journey of equality in all veins and all aspects. I think no matter how old, how young, where you're from, we can probably all look and think to ourselves, oh, the relationship between men and women at work has got better. The relationship between different ethnic groups has got better. The difference between, you know, the racial situation has got better. Everything has got better. But unfortunately is not there. We are still in this loom of promise, which takes me to the 25th of May 2020. So on the 25th of May 2020, George Floyd was killed and was murdered in the streets, and we all watched it repeatedly, and it brought up a lot of emotion in all of us, and sparked a lot of conversation, sparked a movement that was already established, Black Lives Matter, but it gave it a larger platform. It was connected to by far greater numbers of people, and what was hopeful and nice to see was that it was engaged with a far more diverse group of people. This event really shook me to the core. It broke me for a while, and I'm trying not to sound wobbly now, and changed my outlook, and was really confusing to me, and heartbreaking, and I was disillusioned, all of these things. I ended up taking to Facebook for some reason to speak out and speak to people. Unfortunately, I have that ridiculous thing that men have of trying to be strong and trying not to show when you're hurting and all of that nonsense. In my head, I was trying to protect my family from my hurt and carry on as normal. I realized that I was becoming really short with my children. I wasn't pulling my weight. I wasn't doing my duties in the house. I was distracted and unmotivated and all the things that I didn't want to be. I ended up talking on Facebook, and a lot of people reached out to me, and this really helped. It connected me in deeper ways to a lot of people, which was fantastic. Which brings me on to my road to recovery from this. My road to recovery had kind of 5 parts to it, really. And it started with my family, my friends, my close network, who rallied around. I had aunts and uncles who were just amazing. My niece wrote a fantastic piece, which was really inspiring to me and made me feel the need to make sure that was I was also contributing, I was adding. It also broke me once again, because in my head, she's a baby and she shouldn't have had to have been dealing with the subject matters that she was dealing with, but she was. And I have to just highlight my partner, Becky, who was there every step of the way when, she had to deal with me not being the person that I was, not doing my duties, but she was able to stand by me, to challenge me, to pick me up, to do all of the things that I needed to do to motivate me. She pushed really hard. So I just want to thank everybody who was a part of that, especially her, but everybody. I can see people on the screen that you know poured their time and efforts. Martina and Chris, Phoebe, just. I'm not going to keep rolling off names, but you guys out there who know what you did, I just wanted to say thank you very much. I was also coming up with the idea of Stand Together was a enormous help, because it was something that I could do. It was a place where I could start to pour my energy, and then it was just about making it happen, getting it out there, when to get it out there, how to get it out there. And it's taken a long time, and it's been a long time in the making. I'm not going to talk too much about the film, because I want to show it you and hopefully stop rambling on, so I leave some time to talk about it afterwards. Number 3 on my road to recovery was I got involved in a really fantastic project for me, a company based in Oxford, Justice in Motion, and their project was Moving Together. This project really looked at loneliness and connectivity, and it couldn't have come at a better time for us all, with everybody being in lockdown in this vulnerable position. And for me personally, I feel like it was a real saving grace. It was really cathartic. The project we spoke to and listened to transcripts of people who were happy to share their loneliness, their connectivity, their experiences of these things. And by listening and taking part, and then translating what these people were talking about and saying into movement, really cleansed me. So I want to just say thank you. And on screen is just, I didn't know how to do a link. So if you make a note of it and have a search on Google, on YouTube, there's films, and have a look into the company and more. I'm gonna blast through the last two just because I want to keep moving. 4 and 5 was a reevaluation of where we are on this, on our progression, on where we are in time of our promise, and just taking stock and coming from the darkness of going, right, I live in a completely racist, a completely sexist, a completely other else world where, you know, they do to us and they do to this. I took stock, I took time and looked around me. I looked at my friendship group. I looked at the makeup of my family. I had to go back to where I was brought up in multicultural Birmingham and really see and really look and go, no, it's not a lie. My school was a melting pot of cultures, of ethnicities, of languages, of different people, different classes, all coming together. And it wasn't a experiment. It wasn't isolated. Of course, I have traveled and been to places which are the complete opposite. I now live in Warwick and have lived in Leamington for, you know, nearly 20 years. And for the most part, I would say it is not very culturally diverse, although I think it thinks it is. And yet I've managed to have an amazing friendship group. I speak to really open-minded people. Again, I'm lucky and spoiled because I'm a creative and I work for an incredibly creative, diverse and open company. I work and live with people who think like me, and I know there are people who don't, but the fact that I can relate to and see and talk to these people who, regardless of where you're from, regardless of your status, accept you, cherish you, embrace you, I know that we are there and we are together. And so therefore the promise of equality exists, the hope and the light of moving forward does. So this slide is exactly the same as one that I started with, but these are the things that I focused on. These are the things that led me to where I got to. And then very briefly, the last number 5 on my list was re-education, just going back, reading books, finding out more about how we had all got here, looking into the slave trade, looking into the movement of Black Lives Matter, looking into promises made, promises broken. I needed to know more about how we got here. And for me, it wasn't the thing of, oh, you have to know your history in order to be a Black person, or you have to know. For me, I think that's nonsense. When I wake up in the morning, regardless of what I know, I'm Black. When I go to bed, I'm Black. I just am. But knowledge gives you the power to be able to talk to others, to be able to connect with people who think like you, and also challenge people who don't think like you. It gives you a tool to be able to make references and to be informed and to inform others. So just before I play the film, I just want to say a big thank you to Cheyenne, who organized, along with her friends, the Black Lives Matter movement in Leamington, because again, inspiration was an enormous thing for me to be able to move on and go forward. What I found through her work and through what she was doing is I discovered that my other role, my other job, is to be an ambassador, is to always be trying to push things forward. This comes with enormous responsibility and sometimes unfair responsibilities. You know, for me as a Black man living in a predominantly white neighborhood, I do feel the burden of being you know, showing my honesty, showing my approachability, showing that I'm not hostile. He's not a scary Black man. He's not this. I have to wear grin and smile as you hear the comments of, "Oh, you're not like other Black guys," or you know, these things that are positive. You know, oh, I can't really think of examples now, but Cheyenne really, through talking to her and through being with her, she's really young, and her experiences and what led her to create the BLM Leamington was left me in awe, and I just wanted to say thank you. Whew. Okay, so I have rambled and rambled. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press play on the film. I hope you can hear it. I hope you can see it. And hopefully I have left a minute or two for any questions at the end. Okay, here goes.